Have you ever been playing Skyrim and just wished that you could scuttle a mile in a Mudcrab's shoes? Or perhaps 1v1 Vilcus with nothing but your
big, meaty claws!
Or maybe even blow off some steam at your local tavern? Well, if you have, then this challenge is for you. I am going to attempt what I like to call the Creature Climb Challenge. In order to make this possible, I'll be utilizing the Playable Monster Mod by Circumference64 on Nexus Mods. This mod allows you to play as a whole host of creatures that you're probably used to killing, and occasionally even eating. Now, the way that this challenge is going to work is that I'm going to begin at the bottom of the food chain. Literally. I will have to complete my first quest with a Mudcrab and work my way up the creature hierarchy with each quest completed until I reach Dragon Priest status. If I die more than one time during my quest, I have to go back to the previous creature iteration. The challenge is completed once I finish a quest with the Dragon Priest. I'd like to make a special shout out to the Wildlander modlist makers. I will be using Wildlander for this playthrough, so if you see anything you like or that you think is just cool or interesting, it's going to be from that mod list. So go check out the mod list on Wabbajack or on their website. I will leave a link to the website in the description, and I'll also leave a link to the Playable Monster Mod there as well. But without further ado, please sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy the Creature Climb Challenge. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started and see if we can't complete this challenge. I believe this mod list is a little hardcore. Who is this?
The finest skooma, the sweetest moon. Ah, snitch, eh? Can't
Okay,
get
alright.
Now can I? Hmm?
Oh, he just beat me to death. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Is there a carriage we could take somewhere? I guess we'll just straight line it for now. Whoa. Oh, we get... Oh, speaking of mud crabs. Oh, we hardly do anything to that thing. Oh, my goodness. Alright. Life or death right here. Life or death. This is for all the marbles. Oh. Oh my... My suspicious behavior? Alright, surely there is a carriage that would take me somewhere. Oh boy, I cannot fight that right now. Do we try to evade? Can we outrun it? Oh, we're dodging. Bob and weave, bob and weave. Oh, is that another one? He's trying to snipe me. This guy just looks like he would murder us. We just gotta get around this. Just don't let him see you. Not ideal, not ideal, not ideal, not ideal. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that's not what you want to see. That is not what you want to see. 100% I would help. 100%. But I'm beginning to warm up. We have some gold and some things to sell. What in the world? Ooh, we can help, we can help, we can help. Alright, now run. We help. Oh, okay.
What'd you do? Kick him in the cannon and run?
Yeah, you know, we help, we help. Oh, run, run. I mean, I take it.
You handle yourself well. You could make for a decent shield, brother. Not for me to say. You'll have to talk. He can look in your eyes and tell your worth.
I challenge him to look in my eyes later. There it is. So we have Mudcrab, a giant Mudcrab, a large Mudcrab. I think we play a large for the Mudcrab. We'll just be a large Mudcrab. That's fair. In a punishing playlist like this, I think that's fair. Beautiful. Oh, this is brilliant. This is great. Look at us. Oh, we're in our natural habitat. This is where we're supposed to be. Oh, this is great. I'm loving this. Ooh. I wonder how much damage we can do.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
This is a bit painful. Hello, fellas.
You there.
I think I found our quests to complete. I think I found it. Oh, this is horrifying. This would be horrifying to me. I don't see it. Whoa. That might be my cousin. Excuse me.
Fresh from. Oh yes, hunting is my great passion.
The way he says hunting, the way he's accentuating hunting right now, makes me feel like he's sending a message. Oh, excuse me, sirs. Pardon me. We're definitely gonna make... We're gonna make an impression.
This should be good.
Oh, what are we watching? Yeah. Give him a right. Give him a left.
My brother Vilcus is a better talker than Codlack is the one who figures out who can be a companion. So talk to him. It's out of my hands.
Don't be suspicious. No, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Hear the call of the blood. We can overcome. You have my brother and I, obviously.
Would you now?
Yes.
Here, let me have a look at you.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah. How are you in battle, boy? That's the spirit. Vilcus here will get started on that. Vilcus, take him out to the yard and see what he can do.
Yeah, let's go. Does this count? It is a quest line. I think this might count. This is a tough challenge for a Mudcrab. I think we might be able to do this. The real question is, can we get back up these stairs? We gotta make it over the threshold. Yes, we did it. Might have one of those later.
The old man said to have a look at you. So, let's do this. Just have a few swings at me so I can see your form. Don't worry, I can paint.
Pretty good arm you have.
Not bad. Next time won't be so easy to us, you blood.
We
So
did
you
it. That
do
was
what we
scary.
tell you.
Excuse me, gents. Excuse me. Yep. I got something
If
for
you
you.
wish to hunt with me, made it up here.
You know this one? I saw him training in the yard with Vilcus.
Do you think you could handle Vilcus in a real fight?
I don't really care for boasting.
New blood. Oh, I remember you. Come on, follow me.
Do you remember me? Oh, run.
We've gotten a letter about... I don't know what the fuck. I just need you to go out there, look tough, and scare this milk drinker into
Oh boy,
submission.
can I do that.
No more than that. I don't want to hear about a killing, understand?
You have my word. Alright, we start the next mission, which means we get the next thing going. I would say we are now finished with the Mudcrab. That was our first quest completed. Alright, next up is Frostbite Spider. We'll do large Frostbite Spider.
Going straight through, or did you want to stop somewhere along the way?
I guess we're spending it. I have to do it.
Climb and back, and we'll be
I have to see this. This might crash the game. We're gonna save. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Alright, let's...
A new face. You can't scare me into submission. Let's go. Drive that snow back to the ground. Come on! Keep those hands up. 12 septums on the big one.
It must be the big one. Just poisoning him over and over again. Is that a vampire?
Fight! You're tougher than you look. You got me. Fair and square. Fine. I'll take care of it. Just please leave me alone.
Yeah, you're darn right you'll take care of it. Oh, what the? That is a vampire.
You think you stand it?
I think we landed a hit. I'm not sure. Do we try to make our way back across the land here? You know, I think we do. I think we do. I think we try it. I do believe we have some brethren out here. Do they attack us is the question. They do attack us. Oh, this one's wrecking us. How do I do that? Wait, I got an idea. Uh-oh. Let's try this again. This time. Yep. That's our back. That's in our back pocket right there. Let's see what happens now. I think they will be friendly to me. Yep. Yep. That is so cool. Alright. Somebody should work on this mod. Somebody should take over this mod and make it so that you can actually live like as a frostbite spider out here, you know, hunting and stuff. Alright, we want to definitely steer clear of them. They will murder us right now. In fact, it's going to be worth it to do this. Alright, now we got to really hope that we don't run into any creatures while we're out here. Do we have it? Ooh. We've had this the entire time. We could have been spitting that out this entire time. Alright, that's always why you check your movesets. Look at that look at that sky though. That is beautiful. The goal, I guess, has become to become a companion. Oh, he's right here.
You seem to have a knack for this kind of thing. I'll make sure people in charge know. Good. Do not spare them your blade.
Won't spare them my blade, buddy. Oh, we move. We move.
Either I'm drunk or you're naked. Possibly both.
Well, hello. Excuse me, fellas. Excuse me. We got a real traffic jam here. I'm gonna need you guys to move it or lose it. Oh, surely I can fit through here. Yeah, Vilcus. Thank you. Just gonna have to wiggle to get up the stairs. We can find what's-her-face for them. For the Red Guard warriors.
Take a seat, but I don't know what they expect. What do you need, handsome?
Are you sure? Please, come with me. I need to speak to you privately.
Just make our way. We'll follow her up. Oh, yep. Oh no, stairs.
So, are you working with them? You think you can take me? You so much as touch me and you're going to lose fingers. Don't be suspicious. Please. I know I'm asking you to do something difficult, maybe even dangerous.
We can complete this quest, then we'll become an armored skeleton. And we're gonna try to continue the companion's quest line with that one. Alright, am I even going the right way? No, I'm not.
East? I thought you said west.
We can outrun you. Maybe not. Oh yeah, we can. Yep. We zoom. What a ridiculous way to die.
Do you have... Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell me now. We cannot go... You must bring her to us. Lead her to the Whiterun stables, outside of the city. We will wait for you there.
Always something. Always another step. Never ends.
Any news of the Alakir? What? How? But where will I go? After... If you really think this is the only way, I trust you. Let's not waste any time.
We meet at last, my dear lady.
What is this? What have you done?
Double-crossed. You've been double-crossed.
And he goes as limp as a boned fish.
Now we'll take our friend here back down. Not on the way back. Once she gets there, it's not up to me to decide what's done with her.
And with that, we have finished yet another one. Alright, this is Silent Moon's camp. We do have a spell. Do we want to run in there and just go for it? I have a feeling this is going to end badly. Uh-oh. He's wanting to hit me with a spell. We're going to have to... Oh! Let's recruit the local wildlife. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. It worked. Oh, he one-shot me. That was stupid. Nope, we don't change the difficulty. We're probably gonna have to level up. Alright, let's level up. First level up. I think health is the way to go. I'm genuinely not sure. Oh boy, this is tough. This is tough. I guess marksman is the way to go. What are we going to do? Maybe the companions have another quest I can do. Let's see.
Aren't you already running a job for Farkas? Come talk to me
Man.
and finish that.
Okay, only one job at a time.
It took me weeks to find that news dead. I can't stop now. You tried mercenary work? Your travels. I'd be grateful to.
A Requiem playlist was a crazy choice. There is a follower in here we can have. Let's go, Janessa. Alright, she's gonna keep me protected and safe.
Make you look completely different. Of course.
Maybe we try this while we have Janessa, to be honest. Oh, this is gonna be dangerous, but you know what? We risk it. That's what we do. First sign of trouble, though, I'm booking it.
Liar!
We're only level 2. This is probably not a good idea. Oh, here we go. Although we do have way better weapons now.
Teamwork! Teamwork! T-E-A-M! Teamwork!
You know, realistically, this is such a dumb idea.
Teamwork! Teamwork! T-E-A-M! Teamwork! 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 You have a dream, you want to make it real, you need a team, working up steam to make your dream work. Teamwork! Working it through, working together, whatever we do, doing it better as a team.
So worth the money. There's people up at the forge. We don't have to kill them, but my goodness. It'd be a waste not to. Am I getting a little carried away here? Ooh. Alright, I gotta be quick. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that is our official second death, so guess what? We gotta go back to a wolf. There we go. Alright, let's see our stats. Tons of stamina. Stamina for days. Health, not so great. Alright, let's see what we can do. Alright, we're gonna have to really level up. Oh no. Alright, we survived the trek.
Looking at the Riverwood trader had his store broken into the other night. Nobody trusts those mages way up north in their college. Gods only know what they do up there. Of course. Pardon.
There he is.
Another poem, I bet. You can tell Sven that he already has a mother. I'm not speaking to him anymore. Good luck.
Alright, Faendal.
I appreciate your help. Please, take this. Some gold I've saved up from working at the mill.
Completed. Talk to Faendal. We have to do one more of those.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Oh, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Tell me, do you believe in mighty arcane god of light? My Highness, without that amulet, I'm powerless to kill. I'll just wait here and make sure nothing foul.
Alright, Janessa, let's go. This is mainly going to be you, I'm not going to lie.
So much. Oh, thank Arcade!
Alright. Perfect. If we can complete a quest with this, we can get the... I think next up is Sabercat. Which should be a pretty good damage improvement from what I've seen, but I may need to just keep leveling, to be honest. Keep those just in case we need them. I just don't know that we have the ability to do a lot of quests right now. We're in the early stages of this challenge, so that we can really work our way up. Some of the more difficult quests with the better characters. You know what? We have missive boards. We can knock 2 of those out. Ooh, more lavender. Ooh, lavender. Oh, more lavender.
Something you see every... Thank you. Here, this is for you.
Dare I try this? Oh, I try this. Run, 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 run. Janessa, help! Ooh, we did it. Thank you, Janessa. Oh, no. Where in the world did they come from? Oh no, 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 no. I'm so slow. Yeah, come on, keep following me. Come on. Oh, he's right on my heels. No! Guards! There we go. We leveled up on that. Thank you. Alright, we got her. There's one more out here, but I think me and Janessa can handle it. On our way to level 3. Yeah, if somebody takes over this mod at any point, I think you need to make it so that that you can sneak as any of the creatures. That would really add to the mod. Yep, there's one more there. Where's Janessa? Oh, perfect.
Straight trash. Straight trash. Straight trash.
Trash!
Man. That's what our mission should be, is get everything we can and just sell it. Upgrade our speech so that we can level up. And we'll work our way towards being able to level up all of our martial skills by paying the companions to teach us. Well, we could do one-handed with Amryn. Wonder if I could... Nope, whenever I get ideas, that's when things go bad. But we kind of could. You know what, we do it. Hey, you lily-livered idiots.
What the actual fuck did you just say to me right now? Get out of my sight. Get out of my sight.
Let's go. Yeah, come get me. Uh-oh. Yeah, come on. Come do it. All I hear is talk. Are you running out of stamina? Mercy is for the weak. Ooh. Definitely one-shots me if he hits. I don't dare peek. Let him run out of stamina. Get up, Janessa. This is embarrassing. Yep. We're gonna have so much stuff to sell. Alright, we don't go inside because that's where death is. Nothing good can come out of going inside. We're gonna have to level up. And the only way we do that is by hoarding everything and selling it for money. And thank goodness that there is a slight oversight in amount of weight that you can carry with any one of these creatures.
I'm telling you, I need something. All right then.
Our history, it's all in the swing. Let me show you.
always health at this point. We do one-handed. We made our decision. Alright, I need to train with Amryn and one-handed.
I can teach you a few things.
There we go. Worth it. Let's go to the general trader and just sell everything else. Okay, we're level 3 now. Halfway through to level 5. I mean, yeah, why not? Oh, we already have it.
But do I thank you. Here, this is for you.
And that's why you gather stuff when you get the chance. Oh, wait, we can do the Jester quest. Yeah, there's the Jester.
I'm taking Mother to a new home. Oh, for the love of Mara, what? That's it. Huh. Why can't he just leave us alone? Pay me. Have you seen? And he's
You know what? This dude has a point. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Look, thanks. And I'm sorry for my unneighborly reaction. If you talk to Cicero, you be sure to tell him I'll be down to help soon.
You know, nothing like a skeleton to really put it in perspective. Sabercat is next. There we go. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that coat. So what we're gonna want to do is go in this cave and then go back out. Yep, that should fix the problem. And now we just gotta figure out what we're gonna do quest-wise. I'm very curious to see what kind of damage I do. It's interesting to see how it interacts with the Requiem stuff. It blends pretty seamlessly, to be honest. Like, I know it's all base vanilla level stuff, and it probably would have been a better idea, a lot easier for me to do if it was vanilla, but I don't know, that kind of makes it a little too easy. Let's see what we can do. We're almost level 4. See, it'd be cool if I could feed on the bodies like a werewolf. I could just feed on that body and then, you know, gain level or perk or something for this mod. That would be so cool. So if somebody ever does take over this mod, that would be awesome. Just an idea. We did it. We leveled up. Health, of course. It's quick, but it's not that quick. Oh, we're out on the plane. We are actually just role-playing as a Sabercat right now. That's a wolf. Oh, we could take it. We just one-shot him. We're back. We're back to try it with our Sabercat. I think we might be able to do it. We try it. We try it. We just one-shot her. We did it. Now we turn in our quest and we move on up this. We move on up to the next level.
Skjor says that I have the strength of Eden. I expected no less of you, and once again, you have not disappointed.
I think next up is a Falmer. Let's go kill this bear. I think we can handle it. Alright, let's see where we gotta go. Oh, it's in Riverwood. Hello, sir. Did we run into him before? Have I seen that guy? Is that the guy from the first episode who I said would kill us? It's ironic because we're going to be killing the thing that we're going to have to try to turn into. very soon. It's the next one up, actually. Bear is the next one up. Alright, your local exterminators are here. Straight from the companions. They sent me. They've really opened up their membership these days. Alright, where are we going? Oh, Sven's house? This is gonna be awkward. All things considered.
I'm not speaking to him anymore.
Alright, let's do this. Be ready for anything. There's an actual bear. How the hell? How did he even fit in here? I love how huge bears are in this. With the Bears of the North, I think that is. Yeah, we're starting to get into the really good classes that they're not going to struggle very much with bears, even on a Requiem playlist. And there's only two difficulties. You can do the easy one, but we're doing standard, so it's going to require us to level up. It's going to require us to get our skills up. It's going to require us to actually, like, you know, put in the time and effort to get through with these, so you know that they're legit when you do them. I may not need Janassa's services anymore. Yeah, I think we go it alone from here on out, because that was a little easy. Yeah, I'm not paying somebody 300 gold a day to make it so that we can just walk through this. That's boring. No. We want it to be a challenge. Real challenge. Ah, fond memories. Oh. Oh, run. Oh, perfect. She's right here.
I've heard you may actually be... I'm sure that the owner of that place is relieved. They certainly came through with the coin.
There's Vilcus. Now we become a bear. In the last part of the Creature Climb Challenge, we left off as a cave bear with a mission from Vilcus. Now we're supposed to go out to Embershard Mine, which, if you've ever played vanilla Skyrim, you'll know, is the starting mine just outside of Riverwood. We're headed there as a representative of the companions to recover a family heirloom. Now we begin by heading in that direction, but we make the critical mistake of trusting some strangers with glowing eyes who beckoned us to come over to them by the roadside. Oh my gosh. Needless to say, like a foolish little child in a horror movie being offered a balloon, I walked over and paid the price for my simple bear innocence. However, this bear won't be burned twice. And the next time around, I booked it past a headless ghost and through Riverwood with nary a glance toward the roadside until I was approached by two traveling wolves asking me about my carriage's extended warranty. With my newfound experience and jaded outlook on life, I figured it for a scam, since I was but a simple bear and didn't even own a carriage. Then, I quickly killed them before they could even try their fake pitch. Finally, I had arrived at my destination, ready to recover this family heirloom. Now, from experience, I knew that there was probably at least one guard outside of the mine. Now, he actually put up more of a fight than I was expecting, but ultimately his attacks proved to be futile and I safely entered the mine. Now, once inside, I knew exactly where to go, since I've probably navigated this mine hundreds, maybe even thousands of times. I dispatched the first group of bandits with relative ease, and then pulled the lever that releases the drawbridge, so that you can enter into the other part of the mine. Now, I like to imagine that I did it with my teeth or something, because I'm truly committed to the role-playing element of this playthrough. Once the drawbridge was down, I cut it a little closer than I'd normally prefer, but I did succeed in taking the next group down. Now, unfortunately, since the footage was corrupted, you'll simply have to take my word for it. But trust me, it was quite the little scrap on the drawbridge. Now, with my prior knowledge of the mine, I knew that the heirloom was going to be nearby, and there's usually only one more major obstacle in the way. I was right, and it was, in fact, the bandit leader of this outfit. Now, he proved to be only slightly tougher than the rest of the bandits, and soon enough he would fall to my claws as well. Once he'd been dispatched, I looted his body and grabbed the mine key. I opened the door, and then I grabbed the steel dagger. I mean, I guess it could have sentimental value or something. Then, I decided to clear out the rest of the riffraff on the other side of the mine. Again, this was not too difficult. Ooh, he did some damage. Like, he did legitimate damage. Okay, we gotta be careful here. I had finally cleared the mine, and now it was time to leave. Once I was outside, I noticed a waterfall and some jumping salmon. Of course, I simply couldn't fight my bear instincts, and I had to grab a few of them out of the water. Again, I'm very committed to this roleplay. Once I filled my bear stomach with raw salmon, it was time to head back to Whiterun and turn in the quest. Once again, I ran as fast as I could, without even a glance at any passers-by, and safely arrived in Whiterun. I ran to Jorvaskr and turned in my quest. My cave bear mission was now over, and I grabbed the next one. After receiving the next mission, it was time to head back to Shimmermist Cave for my next transformation. Next up on the list for our transformations is the Chorus Hunter, or Chorus Hunter, although I did look it up and it wasn't exactly resolved, but the general consensus seemed to be Chorus, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it from here on out. If you find that I am incorrect, please let me know in the comments. This creature can move pretty fast, and it will give us the ability to shoot a range poison move like the Frostbite Spider. Hopefully, we will get an opportunity with our next mission. Speaking of the next mission, we're going to be hunting down a dangerous escaped criminal for the companions, which effectively makes us the first ever Chorus Bounty Hunter. Skjor recommended that we kill this criminal, and I was more than happy to oblige as long as I got paid. The criminal is located in Riverwood, so actually quite convenient for travel purposes. I decided to go straight there, once again ignoring anyone beckoning me off the side of the road. I moved swiftly and found the criminal loitering outside of the lumber mill. I approached him, and he must have sensed my authoritative bounty hunter aura, because he didn't mince words and just started swinging. I backed up with the plan to poison him. However, a nearby guard decided to jump in, and he made quick work of the criminal. Now, that criminal got lucky if you ask me, because he was about to die a slow and miserable death by chorus poison. In any case, with the criminal dealt with, I decided to loot his body and sell off his goods for a little extra profit and experience. Now, this seems to have rubbed the guards the wrong way, but it was my bounty after all, so I get to keep the loot. Once I was finished selling, I made my way back to Skjor and turned in the quest. I was not messing around anymore, and I decided to fly through this challenge as quickly as possible. No more vampire ambushes, bandit raids, or block stairwells. Nothing was going to slow me down. I grabbed the next mission from Skjor, which just so happened to be the Companion's trial run mission. If I succeeded in completing this quest, I would be a full-fledged member of the Companions. With quest in hand, I told Farkas to meet me at Dustman's Cairn, and then I headed straight for Shimmermist Cave and my next transformation. After the Chorus Hunter was personally one of my most anticipated transformations, the Gargoyle. I've been wanting to play as one of these guys since Dawnguard first released. They are pretty tanky, but they are a bit slow as well. On the plus side, they do have a life drain ability on every single attack. Now, after my transformation, I realized that I had to get rid of all these debuffs because I knew this mission was the real deal. I could not afford to have anything potentially holding me back for this one. So, I made my way into Whiterun and promptly forgot about Farkas having to spend the night in the dungeon while I stayed in the upper loft of an inn right outside of the famous Cloud District. After a good night's rest and a meal, I was ready to make my way to Dustman's Cairn to recover a piece of Wuthrad and prove myself worthy to be a companion. The journey there was rather uneventful, and I arrived to find Farkas patiently waiting without even a questioning glance as to what took me so long. What a professional. We made our way into the dungeon and Farkas warned me that it looked like someone else had arrived first. Fortunately, I played this game enough to know exactly who was here and I was prepared. Or so I thought. Now, we carved our way through a few Draugr who did a bit more damage to me than I would have liked, but not enough to make me want to turn back. We continued on until we faced a locked door. I found a lever, but like a total rookie, I embarrassed myself by accidentally locking myself in a room and leaving Farkas in a 1v5 ambush. But Farkas transformed into a werewolf and promptly wiped the floor with a lot of them. Once I was out of the room, we made our way further into the dungeon until we ran upon a few more Silverhand. Their weapons did a surprising amount of damage, and for the first time in a while, I thought I was going to die. I'm not sure if this is because I count as an undead and I'm taking extra damage as a result. I feel like it would actually be a bit more if I was, so I think it was just their levels being a lot higher than mine. But I did manage to survive this encounter because fortunately I had life drain and plenty of potions to help me recover my health, at least for the time being. Now, this pattern continued for the next few encounters until we stumbled upon the Draugr and Silverhand fighting each other. Now, typically, the Silverhand would trouble me more, but these Draugr were no joke, and they downed Farkas early on, leaving me to fight on my own. I figured that I would be able to handle them with ease, but they did far more damage than I could have anticipated. Once again, I had to utilize a tactical retreat to use health potions. After a bit of fighting on my own, I discovered a decent strategy that involved timing and a little bit of luck. If I waited for them to throw a heavy attack, they'd be vulnerable for just a split second, and I could slash them. As long as they didn't try to parry me, I could exploit this weakness over and over again until they were dead. The only problem was that I had to lure them each one by one to effectively pull this off. The AI began to pick up on this and started to rush me as a small group. However, I retreated further and relocated to confuse them all over again. After some time of this strategy, I had whittled down the numbers to just 2 or 3. I decided to just stand up and go for the kill in the last few of them, and managed it only because of the life drain ability on my attacks. This strategy proved useful for a few more isolated fights, and after getting through some more Draugr, a few Skeevers, and some Frostbite Spiders, we finally reached the final room. Now, from previous playthroughs, I knew that this room was tough on regular legendary difficulty because of the sheer numbers of enemies and the locked door with nowhere to retreat. Thus, I knew it would be even tougher in this Requiem mod list. Now, I do know that it is possible to cheese the encounter, but this is a challenge and that would just be boring, so that's just completely out of the question. Now, I knew that there was no going back and that we still had one reserve life left just in case, so I decided to walk into the room and activate the first enemies by grabbing the fragment from the pedestal. This fight proved to be the toughest one yet, as wave after wave of Draugr came barreling at me and my shield brother. Farkas spent a large portion of time down, leaving me to fend for myself. No doubt this will be noted when I'm inevitably the leader of this group. Nevertheless, I was able to weather the storm each time because of that critical life drain ability and the few potions that I had left. Eventually, I only had a few more left and I decided to just trade blows because of the confidence I had in life drain. The gambit paid off, and finally the room was cleared. With no more enemies left, we had successfully completed the trial dungeon to become a companion. All that was left to do was to return the fragment to Jorvaskr. I got Farkas up, and we made our way out of the dungeon. Once we had arrived at Jorvaskr, Farkas led me around the back where we found the circle, ironically enough in a semicircle, and they welcomed me into their ranks with a lifeless recitation of their warrior's creed or something.
I stand witness to the courage of the soul before us. I would stand at his back. The world might never overtake us. I would lead the song of triumph as our mead hall reveled in his stories.
I don't know, I was just ready to move on to the next phase of the challenge. Once I'd been accepted in the companions, it was time for the next phase of the grind. We grabbed another mission and made our way out to Shimmermist Cave once again. Now it was time to transform into the armored troll. Now, trolls aren't exactly stronger, nor do they have higher base stats than gargoyles. However, the reason I placed them so high up on this list was for their unique rapid health regeneration. This ability alone made up for almost any downside in stats. We really only needed to watch out for fire magic. Once I had transformed, I double-checked my quest location. I was headed to Brood Cavern, which was actually pretty close to where I originally started this whole thing in Morthal. I decided to stop off in Whiterun and sell some of the gear I looted on my last mission. I leveled up as a result and put a point into my one-handed flurry ability. I'm not sure if this actually works with the creatures, but I didn't really have any better options, so this would have to do. After this, I grabbed a room at the inn and slept to remove the survival debuffs. In the morning, I grabbed a quick meal, and I was off to Brood Cavern to kill the invasive wolves there. On the way there, I accidentally walked into an ambush, but these bandits picked the wrong target. With my health regeneration, the fight was honestly a joke, and I one-shot nearly all of them. A little further into my trek, I ran into an angry saber cat. This was yet another easy fight. Finally, I had arrived at Brood Cavern, and I went straight in to deal with the wolves. Once inside, the wolves didn't pose much of a challenge. However, they were fairly evasive, so the fight took a little longer than I would have preferred. But once the leader was down, the cave had been cleared, and it was time to head back and turn in the quest. On the way back, I decided to pass by Robber's Gorge. I figured I wouldn't pass close enough to arouse the bandits' ire. But once one of them took a cheeky little cheap shot at me with my back turned, I decided that if they wanted to f*** around, they had better be ready to find out. And find out they did. I walked through that camp smacking them to death one by one, all while recovering all of my health faster than I could even find the next one to kill. With that out of the way, I once again started back to Whiterun. Now while on the road, I passed by a trio of Thalmor, and since I really hated those and I had a life to spare, I figured I'd give it a go and see how strong I really was. It turns out not that strong, and I went from teaching lessons to people to finding out myself. And once I loaded the save, I passed by looking the other way and whistling a troll tune, praying to almighty Talos that they would take no notice. After this, I decided to be petty and get some sweet, sweet revenge when I noticed an old friend by the roadside selling illicit drugs. Oh, he just beat me to death. Revenge. I confiscated the drugs so that I could turn them in, of course. A little further down the road, I bumped into some drunks who gave me some free mead, and before I knew it, I had all the ingredients to throw a pretty sick party back at Wabbajack. With some pep in my step, meat on my mind, and just a small hit of sleeping tree sap, I thought I was hallucinating when some random mage tried to light me on fire. After a few misses, I got close enough to throw hands, and he simply wasn't ready for them. I looted him and thankfully had no more incidents before arriving back in Whiterun. I walked into Jorvaskr high as a kite and turned on my quest to Aela. Before leaving, I grabbed the next quest from Farkas and decided to get some sleep before heading out to Shimmermist Cave. I had a terrible nightmare about being trapped in the stairwell again, and I woke up in a cold sweat and breathed a sigh of relief realizing that it was only a dream. I then got up and made my way to the same stairwell, and...
Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no.
Once I got out of the stairwell, I headed straight to the cave for my transformation. However, right before I was about to revert, an ice mage attacked and tried to freeze me. I used the direct approach and decided to block it with my face so that I could deliver that satisfying one-hit kill. And finally, with him down, I was free to transform into the next creature in peace. The next creature on the list was the Draugr Deathlord. Now, I couldn't initially remember which Draugr it was, so I transformed into the wrong one. But I eventually figured it out and fixed my mistake. Once the transformation was complete, I checked my quest and discovered that it was a bandit clearing mission located at Bannermist Tower in Falkreath Hold. I decided to head straight there since I'd gotten rid of my debuffs the night before. On the way, I walked past a spot where I had a strong feeling of deja vu. We zoom. But I couldn't quite put my finger on why, so I had just moved on. Eventually, I had yet another moment of deja vu. This time, I was sure I'd fought these guys on the road before. Either way, I decided, I've got 2 lives. I think I can take them. Why not give it a go? Okay. I think I'm done messing with them now. After a few minutes of walking, I discovered the tower tucked away in the woods. I ran straight ahead knowing that I had the element of surprise on my side. After all, how many Draugr do you see wandering the woods in broad daylight? However, the first bandit had the reaction time of a squirrel on speed, and he immediately dodged my first swing and parried my second. He was clearly well trained for a bandit, so I utilized my secret weapon. I could speak dragon, and I yelled at him in the Dova language. He was not prepared for it, but his backup arrived just in time. I swung for the fences and felled 2 of them before the last one almost took me down. Fortunately for me, his swings were wild and unwieldy, and the death blow missed me by mere inches. I saw my chance for a tactical retreat, and I took it. As expected, the bandit followed me, hoping for an easy kill. This is when he learned that I'm actually about that life, and I turned around and yelled at him to come and get me. Fortunately, I was still speaking dragon, and the force of the scream pushed him back and caused him to become disoriented and panic. He turned his back, and the rest was history. Once the last bandit went down, I started back to Whiterun. On the road, I ran across some wolves evaluating a recently wrecked carriage. They barked something about how this guy probably wished he had extended his carriage's warranty, so I yelled that I wasn't interested in their elaborate schemes. They took offense and ran at me, intending violence. So, I raised my sword and slew them in self-defense. I inspected the clearly fake burn victims and left the site in a hurry. I made the long journey back to Whiterun, and just outside the gate, I decided to stop and have a quick 6-hour marksmanship study session. This got me a level up, and I decided to put the point into the conditioning perk in the heavy armor skill tree. Once I'd finished, I went straight to Jorvaskr and turned in my mission to Farkas. I then grabbed the next mission from Skjor and ran to Shimmermis Cave. Once there, I reverted form and... Wait a minute. What the... Why did I revert to a Draugr? Okay, well after some troubleshooting, I guess my base form is a Draugr now. My last save is too far back for me to load, so I'm just going to keep on going with the main save. Oh well, let's roll with it and see what happens. Maybe it'll work. Next up, we have our first Atronach form, with the Flame Atronach. This one is up first, being the weakest stat-wise. However, the Flame Atronach does have the advantage of being very fast in movement, which makes up for the stat deficiency. It also has very efficient attacks, being able to launch firebolts at no cost along with the flame spell. Obviously, flame spells being no cost to a Flame Atronach makes sense, but this really could come in handy later. However, because of its low stats, I will definitely have to play it safe and fight from a distance. Like clockwork, I check my map to see my destination, and realize that I am heading right back to Bannermist Tower to recover a family heirloom. I got on the road and decided to just go straight there without stopping. I did have one debuff, but fortunately, I was a Flame Atronach who apparently had no issue ingesting water. Once I'd quenched my thirst, I started toward Bannermist Tower, and decided, why not try a shortcut? Since we were now down to just one life, I had to be extra careful on this mission. I knew I would have to keep my distance and spam Firebolt more than likely, so once I arrived at the tower from a safer road this time, I launched into my guerrilla tactics. After a few Firebolts, each bandit went down pretty quick. I had to retreat into the woods once they gave chase, but I had the speed advantage and an attack that I could launch at distance. Finally, there was only one left at the top of the tower. I employed the same tactics, but I had to be extra careful. One arrow would nearly deplete all of my health, so I just kept moving in and out, launching firebolts until I struck the last blow. Once the bandits were down, I looted the key, opened the door, and grabbed the heirloom. This time, it was an iron greatsword. Okay. Well, once again, I'm sure there's sentimental value here. With sword in hand, I glided my way back to Whiterun, apparently unfazed by the rain. Once I arrived back at Jorvaskr, I turned in the mission and grabbed another. Then I was, once again, off to Shimmermis Cave for my next transformation into the next Atronach iteration. The next Atronach form on the list was the Storm Atronach. Now technically this Atronach is the strongest stat-wise. However, the reason I chose to put this one second is because, well, I have no logical reason. I just really like the Frost Atronach form, and I wanted to save my favorite for last. So there you go. Anyways, the Storm Atronach has the best stats of the three, but its 2 lightning attacks are basically just the same thing, so not super interesting, but you take what you get. Now, I do have the ability to throw a punch with my giant electrically charged rock hands, which would seem like a really powerful attack, but it really doesn't do that much. and why would I ever choose that over the Emperor Palpatine move? In any case, I figured that I could certainly handle hunting down an escaped criminal in any Atronach form, so it didn't really matter. I checked the map to see where this criminal was last sighted by some confidential informant I must have through the Companions Network, and lo and behold, yet another criminal seemed to have decided to stop off at Riverwood. Now, I knew he'd probably be on the run soon if he knew that Coslashdog the bounty hunter was on the case. So, I headed straight to Riverwood without any hesitation. Now, apparently my confidential informant was a soothsayer or something because the criminal seemed to only just be arriving right when I was. I hesitated for a moment, considering the moral implications of a possible Minority Report type situation. But then I remembered that I'm not Tom Cruise. I'm just a simple storm Atronach, and I just started casting my lightning. The criminal bull rushed me, but a local guard once again stepped in and stole my kill. This had been by far the easiest mission yet. My confidence was soaring, and once I'd turned in the mission, I hardly paid attention to the directive for the next one. I just grabbed it and confidently floated back to Shimmermist Cave, where I would make my final Atronach transformation. Hopefully. And now we've finally made it to the last Atronach form, the Frost Atronach. I'm excited to play as this form because it is definitely my favorite of the three for mainly one reason. Let's kick some ice. Ice to meet you. Whoa dude, looks like you need to chill out. It seems to me you're on thin ice.
Let's kick some ice.
Now as far as firepower, it has its fists and a very powerful heavy attack where it slams its fist into the ground for a huge area of effect ice explosion. The main strategy with this form is going to be to get in close and do as much damage as possible as fast as possible. But now it was time to start the next mission. So I opened the map and discovered that I had quite the trek to make compared to my more recent missions. I'm headed to Oratheim to retrieve yet another iron sword. Are you kidding me? The companions need to upgrade their clientele. Like, we should really consider catering exclusively to the Cloud District. Anyways, I got on the road and started toward Oratheim. Nothing particularly interesting happened on the way there until I ran across some poachers harassing a few mammoths. The giants were apparently bribed to look the other way, so I was forced to step in. I made pretty short work of these poachers, and after only a few minutes, the fight was over. I then turned around and headed straight for Oratheim. I decided to take the direct approach, and I just ran in without a second thought. Unfortunately, a second thought may have prevented what happened next. After this failure, I was down to just one life left. I knew I had to be very careful or I was headed back to the Storm Atronach. I had one shot, so I decided to try a hit and run strategy. I could just take out one or two at a time, then I could run out of the cave to heal and just rinse and repeat. I knew the leader and the fire mage were the biggest threats, so I decided to try and isolate those fights if I could. First, I took out the two in the first room, then I realized there was actually a third. We hit each other at the same time, and fortunately I one-shot him. Unfortunately, he nearly did the same, and I was extremely low on health. So I ran out of the cave, healed up, and then went back in. Once I was in, I knew I had to isolate the leader who was using a great hammer. He was in the room with the mage, and I couldn't lure him out. I knew I'd have to run in, so my priority was the mage since he had a powerful ranged attack that could definitely one-shot me. I had to kill him in one hit, so I decided to run in and use my power attack. It was a gamble, but it worked, and he was down. I retreated into the next room, and the leader followed me in. Unfortunately, he was tanking more of my damage than the others, so after eating a few hammer blows, I was forced to retreat once again. Once more, I had to isolate him and try to finish the fight quickly. I rushed in again, and after 3 near misses with my heavy attack, I finally landed one just as he rushed me. I then realized that there was one more bandit archer in the other room, but he wasn't much of a threat, and I easily took him out. The encounter was more stressful than I had anticipated, and I grabbed the garbage sword I came here for and made my way back to Whiterun. I turned in the quest and grabbed the next one. However, this next quest would be different because it was the next main part of the companion's questline. I was about to become a werewolf. Skewer told me to meet him that night at the Underforge. I agreed to meet him that night and made my way out to Shimmerman's cave to revert form in preparation for my werewolf. In preparation for my werewolf transformation. Alright, we are back with the final installment of the challenge. Last time, we left off about to start the next big phase of the companion's questline. I knew this next step involved becoming a werewolf, so I decided not to transform just yet. I wanted to see if the game would have any issues with it, since my default race was now Draugr. I headed to Jorvaskr and met with Skewer and Ayla in the Underforge. I agreed to undergo the transformation and participated in the blood ritual. With bated breath, I now waited to see if the transformation would cause a crash. Thankfully, the transformation was a success, and we were now a lycanthrope. We ran out to find our first victim, who just happened to be this poor guy who was simply manning his guard tower. It really was nothing personal. I'm pretty sure it was just the only way to de-transform. After the transformation ended, I woke up in the woods to Ayla telling me that we were just outside of a Silver Hand hideout. If you recall from the last episode, Barkus and I caused quite a stir with those guys, and it seemed Ayla wanted to give them a good scare. Well, I was born for that assignment. I know she was hoping to see me transform, but I doubt that she had this in mind. I could barely move at a Mudcrab's pace. However, I was confident in my magical abilities, and I knew I was a glass cannon, but I was really hoping that the cannon part was going to carry me. Well, unfortunately for me, the emphasis was actually on the glass part. And it certainly didn't help that I was slower than a snail dipped in molasses, glued to a piece of cardboard, and actively floating in space toward a black hole that was causing a time distortion, making me actually regress in time. Nevertheless, I decided to give it another go using a slightly adjusted strategy. And by slightly adjusted, I mean not adjusted at all, even a little bit. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and I once again got skill diffed by people with non-arthritic legs. After this shocking and unforeseeable outcome, I was on my way back down to the Frost Astronaut. But I could certainly think of worse fates. Let's kick some ice. Ice to meet you. Whoa, dude. Looks like you need to chill out. It seems to me you're on thin ice. Anyways, I made my way into the hideout and managed to hold my own against most of the enemies inside. Ayla and I carved our way through the Silver Hand until we reached a set of stairs where I made my first big blunder. I was not cool, calm, and collected, and I ran headfirst into a nearly lethal trap. I had to retreat, but I was chased into the other room and killed before Ayla could assist. This set me back a bit, but I was determined not to drop another one. So I ran back up the stairs and used the bait and switch tactic much like I did with the gargoyle, where I would fake an attack forward and make them commit to a heavy attack. I could then use my heavy slam to stagger them and stab them quickly with my ice spike, Fist of Fury. This tactic and a willingness to retreat and fight another day saved me from a few close calls, and before I knew it, we had reached the end of the hideout. Here we discovered that Skewer had been killed and we needed to take out the Silver Hand leader. The fight was difficult, but my strategy once again paid off and I eliminated the boss. Afterwards, I left for Jorvaskr, but not before picking up my next quest from Ayla. Once I made it back to Whiterun, I transformed into what I would describe as by far my least favorite form. Ayla gave me another mission. However, I had no interest in attempting to fight the Silver Hand as a Hagraven anymore, so I looked for another quest option. Fortunately, I remembered that I had started the Bleak Falls Barrow quest for Lucian, and I had also grabbed Amren's sword retrieval quest earlier. I decided to try Bleak Falls Barrow, and headed that way. Once I arrived, I quickly dispatched the lower level bandits outside and at the entrance. I made my way into the dungeon, and finally reached the giant spider and Arvel the Swift. I killed the spider with the help of a summoned flame astronaut, and freed Arvel. He obviously outran me, and I gave chase. Oh, here I come. I am right behind you. Look, he's just lucky he didn't know me in my prime. After catching up to him, a little worse for wear, I killed the Draugr surrounding him by using a flame cloak spell and a fireball. I was quickly overwhelmed, and I found myself dead once again. This time, I knew I couldn't make it out of there alive if I kept pushing forward, so I grabbed the claw and beat a hasty retreat. Alright, it is time to race on out of here. Look, I used to run track. I decided to pursue Amaran's quest instead, since I knew for sure that I could handle bandits. After several days of travel, I made it to Halted Stream Camp and sprinted inside. Almost there. Just a little bit further. Once inside, I started chucking fireballs while surrounded in a flame cloak. Fortunately, I was doing a large amount of damage to the bandits, and they fell one by one to my fire blast. I was a bit nervous about the boss and one bandit who had a lightning staff with him, but I managed to take them both out when they got a little too close to my flame cloak. I grabbed Amaran's sword from the chest and hastily made my way to Whiterun. Alright, we got it. Let's shuffle on back to Whiterun. I turned in the quest to Amaran and headed for Shimmermist Cave for my next transformation. The next creature up was the Wisp Mother. I was excited to try this because with this one, I always had backup in the form of wisps. I transformed and checked the quest info to see where I was headed. Fortunately, it was actually fairly close by at Fort Fellhammer. I marked my map and turned down the northern road. On the way, I encountered a feisty little frost troll who thought I was going to be easy prey. My frost magic wasn't doing much, so I had to turn to less conventional methods for my particular creature. I still wasn't doing a lot of damage, but luckily I was joined in combat by a random polar bear. With the help of my unexpected new ally, I downed the troll and pushed forward. Finally, I had arrived at Fort Fellhammer. Now, the Silverhand must have heard that I was on the way, because they immediately ran out to meet me on the road. I took the first one out with relative ease, but then I was hit with a barrage of arrows that left me extremely low on health. I backed up to heal and used my ranged guerrilla tactics from the cover of a nearby tree. My tactics were working fairly well until one of the archers repositioned himself. I had to fall back and disengage. Fortunately, this was actually possible with a creature that could move at a speed faster than that sloth's reaction time from Zootopia. I de-aggroed the Silver Hand enemy successfully and found a nearby area to heal back up so that I could re-engage once I was fully healed. And then this happened. Oh my god. After this tragedy, I decided to only use guerrilla tactics and prioritize cover and attacks of opportunity. This strategy paid off after the first few Silver Hand members went down. This was a huge difference maker in the fight, and it allowed me to make my way inside the walls and take down the last few archers before I headed into the leader's quarters to steal the plans. Once inside, I took the leader out before he had a chance to fully summon an Atronach to help him. I then grabbed the plans out of the chest and made my way back to Jorvaskr. I handed the stolen plans to Aela, and then grabbed the next quest. With quest in hand, I headed straight to Shimmermist Cave for another transformation. Next up was the Spriggan Earth Mother. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever faced one of these before, so I was kind of excited to see what it had in store. It had fairly basic attacks, but the Spriggan Spray attack was a lot of fun to use. Unfortunately, there was a visual glitch whenever I used the melee. I did try to see if I could get rid of it, but to no avail. It's not too terrible to look at, but I do apologize in advance if it's annoying. Anyways, I decided to take a look at the map and see where my next quest was taking me. It looked like I was headed to Lost Knife Hideout to assassinate one of the Silverhand leaders. The journey there was rather uneventful, and I found the hideout easily enough. Once inside, I quite literally carved my way through the Silverhand inside. I was shocked at how powerful the melee attack for this Spriggan Earth Mother was. I was either one or two-shotting every enemy, regardless of level. I progressed through the hideout quickly and found myself in the final room where the illegal wolf fighting was taking place. My natural Earth Motherly instinct kicked in, and it was my turn to say this. After a fairly short fight, I took out the Silver Hand members and started back out. I then journeyed to Jorvaskr once again to find Aela and turn in the quest. She seemed pleased at my progress, but I still had more to do. I decided to switch things up, and I found Vilkas, who gave me a bounty hunting mission to complete. I grabbed the mission, and once again, headed to Shimmermist Cave. The Lurker was next on the list, although, in hindsight, I think he should have been next to last. I had no idea that the stats were so high. I mean, it did make sense considering the fact that they're a part of a DLC questline, but I really hadn't thought it through, so... In any case, it was too late to make the change, so I just went with it. After the transformation, I checked the map to see just where this criminal had last been seen. Incredibly, he must have just escaped the Whiterun prison, because he was extremely close by. I followed the map marker and spotted him making a run for it. I thought I was going to have to chase him down, but he surprised me when he stopped, turned around, and decided to fight the 12-foot hulking monster trying to kill him for money. I hesitated for a moment since he seemed so confident, but I quickly discovered that this tactic was just a last-ditch effort to save himself. He turned out to be an easy kill, and I went back to Jorvaskr with high spirits. I was cruising to the end of this challenge, and it seemed like the rest of the way would be simple and stress-free. Boy, was I wrong. After the Lurker was the giant transformation. This one was definitely in my top 3 list of transformations that I was the most excited about. After all, I really wanted to be the one to send someone into space instead of being launched myself. A quick note before we move on with the mission. I am allowing myself a detransformation in order to get through small spaces when necessary. Now with that out of the way, let's get back to the action. This particular quest from Aela had me heading much further away from my mission. I was going to Treva's watch to steal silver hand plans. As I was leaving for my mission, however, I was surprise attacked by 2 roaming saber cats. This attack presented a great opportunity to test out my strength, and I managed to kill both, launching one of them to Secunda. After this fight, I left for Treva's watch and arrived safely sometime in the evening. Once I was there, I found a spot where I could get over the wall in order to bypass the long cavern and fort traversal typically required for the mission. I figured this would eliminate the need for a lot of detransformations or clipping toggles. I knew I had a lot of silver hand enemies to defeat in the fort, but I was confident that I could do it. However, I was not expecting them to do as much damage as they were doing. I could stagger them with a slam of my club, but they could block my attacks and cause me to recoil. Now this recoil combined with archers leaving me looking like a pincushion made the fight extremely dangerous. Unfortunately, they rushed me at the same time and I just couldn't handle the barrage of arrows and greatswords, and I had my first defeat since the Wisp Mother. Now that I was being reminded what it was like to be mortal, I had to come up with a better game plan. I decided to get rid of some debuffs by sleeping until morning at a nearby camp. This would also allow me to see better when the sun was out. I decided to try my classic hit and run tactic that had worked so well with the other creatures. I was right, and it did work extremely well. Pretty soon, I was isolating my fights and launching Silverhand members to the moons left and right. Soon I had eliminated all of them outside. I knew that the plans were inside the fort, but I also knew that my hit and run tactics wouldn't work so well in such an enclosed space. I made the decision that I was just going to make a run for the plans and then book it out of there. They were just doing too much damage for me to try to take them all on at once. I had to detransform to get inside, and once I was inside, I made a break for the plans. I knew roughly where they were and I bolted for the chest. I found it and quickly grabbed the plans. The Silverhand seemed shocked that a 12-foot behemoth just waltzed into the room, because it took them more than a few seconds to react. This gave me just enough time to grab it out with most of my health intact. I sprinted back out and realized that I hadn't opened the front gate. They followed me out and I had to make a stand. Fortunately, I was outside and I could use my hit and run tactics again effectively. Nevertheless, they were still very strong, and after I caught a few stray sword swings, my health bar was looking very low. I thought it was all about to be over until I remembered that I could just leave where I came in at the side of the fort wall. I sprinted up there, ducking and dodging arrows, and managed to outrun them with the plans still in my possession. I had what I needed to complete the mission, so I headed for Whiterun, and after a long and boring road, I made it back to Jorvaskr. I turned the quest in and grabbed the next one from Aela. As I left for Shimmermist Cave, I was once again in high spirits, since the end of the challenge was now nearly in sight. I was finally nearing the end of this challenge. The next creature was the penultimate one, the Dwarven Centurion. I was pretty excited to see this thing in action because I knew how much of a nightmare they were to fight against, especially the steam attack. I checked my mission just before I transformed and discovered that I was retrieving another missing fragment of Luthrad. The Silver Hand had it at the top of a tower in the rift called Baldar's Tooth. I decided to head straight there because I was in a hurry. I was a little concerned about possibly having the same issues as I did with the giant prior, since it would probably be me versus a lot of Silver Hand all at once. But I did feel confident that I had just about perfected the hit and run tactic at this point in the run. I arrived later in the day while it was raining, and I made my way into the fort from the side. Once inside the walls, I was immediately met with arrows flying from the dark. I was having a hard time seeing where they were coming from, and they were doing a lot of damage. Finally, a Silver Hand member attacked me with a melee weapon, and I quickly engaged. However, the arrows were just too much to weather, and I was dropped way too fast for my own comfort. I was now down to just one life left. I did not want to have to redo this as a giant. I decided that it would be much easier to fight in the daylight, so I waited until the morning. I was definitely right, and who would have guessed that seeing your enemies made them much easier to fight? I was able to now successfully isolate my fights since I could avoid the archers by staying out of their line of sight. I managed to kill them all, but it left me with very low health. After some time of waiting for my health bar to recover, I finally made my way up the tower. I had to toggle clipping and then de-transform in order to get up the tower fully. I decided to try not to fight in the enclosed space at the top, so I ran up and got the boss's aggro. Once I got back down, I quickly transformed again and started the fight on the bridge. He eventually backed up and jumped outside of the wall of the base. At this point, I knew the fight was all but over. I had him against the ropes, and I was able to finish him right then and there. With the enemies now out of the way, nothing was stopping me from taking back the fragment. I grabbed it out of the chest and started back to Whiterun. However, before I left, I gave a victory steam roar over my newly conquered fort. Once I had turned this quest into Aela, she informed me that Codlacht had learned that we had been going on these secret missions and wanted to speak to me. Like a kid being summoned to the principal's office, I made my way down to see him, trying to figure out what excuse I was going to use. I had decided on Aela made me do it. Unfortunately, the excuse was a bust, and he gave me a slap on the wrist. Fortunately, what he really wanted was to give me another mission. I was being sent to collect the heads of the Glenmoral witches. With these heads, lycanthropy could be cured. He wanted to be cured specifically since he was seeing the end in sight now, and he really wanted to go to Sovngarde instead of Hircine's hunting grounds. I decided to transform right there instead of waiting since the mission was so urgent. I also decided that in order to finish the challenge, I would have to finish this whole questline as the Dragon Priest to make it a bit more interesting. So, with the end in sight, I left Jorrvaskr and started the journey to the Glenmoral Coven. I had started on the road to Glenmoral Coven, but then it occurred to me that I had about 18,000 septims burning a hole in my tattered pockets. So I decided to find a useful way to spend them. I gave it some thought, then I realized that I could spend it on training in destruction magic. Since I was now a Dragon Priest, I was mainly going to be using destruction spells for damage anyways. As a result, I figured getting higher level perks would make fighting easier and less costly. I made my way to Winterhold and arrived there without any issues. Once I arrived, I passed Feralda's test to enter the college. And had her train me. This training gave me a level up, and I trained with her until I couldn't train anymore. I then decided to head out into the wild and try to level up one more time to get just one more training session out of her. After fighting some minor enemies and a couple of pretty powerful sorcerers, I still hadn't leveled up. So I just decided to make my way back to the college and get some sleep before heading out to remove debuffs. I woke up early and started my journey to the coven. I arrived outside only a little later, and once I had arrived, I was attacked by a frost atronach who must have been guarding the door. I made short work of him with the help of some random vigilant of Stendar. After the fight, I made my way inside the coven hideout. Once inside, I got into a firefight with the first witch. I dispatched her with relative ease and decided to get all the heads while I was there. One by one, I found them in their little sections of the cave and severed their heads as a sign of victory. No one would ever have to worry about making Faustian bargains with these witches ever again. With the witches' heads in possession, I excitedly made my way back to Jorrvaskr to give Codlacht the good news. Unfortunately, when I had arrived, it was too late, and my revenge tour with Aela had resulted in the Silver Hand wanting some revenge of their own. Codlac had been killed, and the Silver Hand had taken all the fragments of Uthrad while I was gone. Vilcus was understandably upset with me and Aella. I felt like a character in an 80s sitcom learning a hard lesson. He decided that we need to take action and hit their headquarters. He told me to meet him there. I agreed and made my way to Driftshade Refuge for one last fight against the Silver Hand. Once we had arrived there, we made our way inside and tore through every enemy inside. The Dragon Priest's health and attack power was just too much for the Silver Hand to handle, and I easily took out every group of enemies with a Flame Cloak and the Fireball spell. We finally cut through them all and made it into the deepest level of the hideout. In the room, they had placed the fragments on a table. We fought off the last vestige of the Silver Hand right then and there. Once we had defeated them, I was informed that the Silver Hand were no more. I floated over to the fragments and picked them up. Our second mission was completed, and I knew we now had only one more before the companion's questline was complete. We made our way back to Jorvaskr one last time, and we were summoned to the Skyforge for Codlac's funeral. We held the ceremony and lit the fire on top of the forge. Now it was time to figure out what to do next. We were summoned to a meeting with the rest of the circle in the Underforge, but Eorlin asked me to give him the fragments of Uthrad. I agreed, and he told me to get the last one that Codlac kept in a drawer in his room. I grabbed the piece, brought it back to him, and then made my way into the Underforge. Once there, the circle argued for a minute about whose fault it was that Codlac had been killed and how he never got to be cured as a result. Aella took quite a verbal thrashing, and I stood in the corner saying nothing like a coward. She finally owned up to it and made peace with Vilcus. Vilcus found one last shred of hope for Codlac when he suggested that we could use the power at Ysgramor's tomb to undo Codlac's lycanthropy, even after his death. However, we needed Uthrad fully restored to even enter. Just then, Eorlin emerged with inspirational words of encouragement. He had reforged Uthrad. Honestly, in like a matter of minutes, he really was the greatest blacksmith in Skyrim. Well, either that or it was made of Legos. Either way, we now had everything we needed to rescue Codlac from Hircine's curse. The group left the Underforge through the secret exit and began the journey to Ysgramor's tomb. I arrived in Winterhold and started towards the tomb. Before crossing the water, I massacred some porkers who had decided to f*** around and find out. Afterwards, I floated to the tomb and easily killed a troll guarding the entrance. Once inside, I was greeted by Vilcus, who informed me that he wasn't going in with us since he felt like he had dishonored Codlac by seeking revenge. I placed the Uthrad in the statue's hands and the door opened. Once inside, we were faced with angry ghosts of former companions. I made quick work of them, all by one-shotting them with my fireball spells. We easily made our way through each encounter with the spirits and finally arrived in the last room. In the center, Codlac stood and informed us that he was hiding from Hircine. I told him that I had the heads of the witches, and he told me to throw one into the flames. Once I had thrown the head in, Codlac's angry wolf spirit appeared, and Aella redeemed herself by killing it quickly. Codlac thanked us and gave me the new title of Harbinger. After this, I decided to go ahead and cure my lycanthropy here as well, and threw another head into the flames. My angry wolf spirit appeared, and I killed it with a few fireballs. And that was it. We had now officially been named Harbinger, cured our lycanthropy, and completed the companion's questline. The challenge was officially over.
But wait! There's more!
As a bonus, I decided to complete one last mission. If you recall, I had started the Bleak Falls Barrow dungeon, but couldn't complete it with the Hagraven. However, since I was a dragon priest, I decided to head back there and claim it for myself, before officially ending the challenge. All of the enemies I had killed earlier hadn't respawned, so I made my way up to the point where I had been earlier. Afterwards, I made quick work of all the Draugr in every level, and finally arrived at the dragon door with the claw in hand. I opened the door to about a dozen Draugr on the other side. I could only see them through the flashes of the fireballs I was launching, since it was so dark in there, but eventually I burned them all up and made my way into the inner sanctum. I killed the last of them from a distance, and then saw the word wall and the stone coffin, and knew I had one more high-level enemy to kill. A high-level Draugr was simply no match, and I killed him with a combination of my flame cloak and fireballs. And with that, I was now the undisputed ruler of Bleak Falls Barrow, and the Creature Climb Challenge was now officially completed. And that concludes the Creature Climb Challenge. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this series. It's been a lot of hard work to create, but it has definitely been worth the effort. I am truly appreciative of every single view, comment, like, and subscription that I get, and hopefully you all are entertained and enjoying the content. I do have another idea for Skyrim in the works right now, and I'm excited to put it out there. I won't be revealing it just yet, but look out for a post the day before I upload it. So if you are looking forward to it, make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. Once again, I really do appreciate you all for watching something that I've worked really hard to make. I know it may not be up to the standard of some other bigger channels, but hopefully I can get to that level of production quality as I get better at it. I do have one last request of you before you go. If you did happen to enjoy the videos, please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. It goes a long way toward helping me out with the algorithm and potentially growing the channel. But even if you don't, I really am just happy if you enjoyed the videos and got some entertainment out of them. Now, with all that being said, it's officially time to conclude. So, be on the lookout for my next project soon, and I will see you there.